How to properly notify tipped employees about tip credit. Imagine starting a new job and not knowing how your wages are calculated. That can be confusing, especially when tips and wages are involved. Today, we're going to talk about how employers must tell tipped employees about the tip credit. This is a key part of wage and hour rules that protect workers and keep businesses compliant. When a restaurant or employer plans to use a tip credit, they need to give a clear written notice to each employee. This notice should be provided at or before the time they are hired. It's important because employees need to understand how their wages are made up. The notice must say that the employer intends to count tips toward meeting the minimum wage. The notice should explain that the employer will pay a lower cash wage, but tips will make up the difference. For example, if the minimum wage is $20 per hour and the cash wage is $15, tips will cover the $5 gap. This helps employees see how their total earnings will reach at least the minimum wage. It's also necessary to inform employees that tips are their property. They have the right to keep all tips they receive, unless they are part of a lawful tip pooling arrangement. The notice must clarify that the employer cannot take tips away or withhold them. Another important part is providing wage statements. These should show separately the cash wages paid by the employer and the tips credited. This transparency helps employees verify their earnings and understand how the tip credit is applied. Since rules can vary by state or local laws, the notice must comply with those specific requirements. Some places may have additional disclosures or different minimum wages and tip credit limits. Employers should check local laws to stay compliant. Employers should also tell employees that if their total earnings do not reach the minimum wage, the employer must make up the difference. This means paying extra if tips fall short. To stay organized, employers should keep records of the notices given to each employee. Using standard forms or electronic acknowledgement systems can help document that employees received proper notice. Regularly reviewing wage statements is also a good practice to ensure compliance. Failing to give proper notice can cause problems. Employers might lose the right to claim the tip credit, which could lead to wage claims and penalties. That's why clear, timely, and written communication is so important. In summary, employers must give a written notice to tipped employees before or at the time of hiring. This notice should explain how tips are credited, employees' rights to keep their tips, and the employer's wage obligations. Following these steps helps protect workers and keeps the business in line with labor laws.